And the next minute there was a car coming round the corner, pretty slow, winds his window down, and as he gets level with us on the doors, he fires a gun out of the window. The first bullet hit the door. The door staff that was with me, he realised it was the guy that had come back. He ran in, shut the door, left me outside. It was an instant reaction, but left me outside. And as the guy went to shoot again, it hit the door, smashed the window, but it ricocheted off the panel of the door, the window frame, and hit me straight in the knee. It come from actually my brother's friend. He works as a doorman, and he was working by himself. And I actually spoke to him one particular night, and he got called away. He went down to the toilets. There was 2 women actually fighting in the toilet. So he had to rush in to go and sort it out. But while he was in there, one of the girls turned around and said that they touched him up, and the other girl backed him up. So basically he'd lost his job for at least 6 months until it was actually sorted, and it went to court, and the girl was found to be lying. But he'd lost like 6 months of work and money, and basically his reputation. And he just asked me, if it was a woman that could do it, they could actually go into the ladies' toilet, and not many people would say anything. So I thought, well, if I try it, and I kind of liked it, and the money was good, and I could still stand at the end of the weekend, I'd done a good job. So I thought, why not? The training wasn't any, not like there is today with the SIA. Basically, all you could do was, like, if you stood at the end of the night and you had a few bruises, you got the job. But back in them days, it was all men on the door, and they didn't like working with women. I'd been to fights, and I'd been in fights at school and things like that. But obviously, you're fighting throughout your life, one thing or another, whether it be physical or whether it be verbal. To start with, I thought it might not be for me. But obviously, as my reputation built and I got more confidence in myself to do it, I carried on, and different places, different atmospheres, different people. And I enjoyed it. I always thought that, like, instead of going out and paying for a drink to be out during the night, at the weekends with your friends, I might as well get paid to be in that situation. So it was a win-win situation for me. But my mum, oh crikey, if I was in a fight, she'd lie awake at home waiting for the door to go, and then she'd get up quietly and come and see if I was all right and I was still in one piece. And if I got blood on my shirt, she immediately thought it was mine. Just so like I was in one piece when I got home, it put her mind to rest. But she wasn't very happy about it. She even used to put the clock back. So if my dad woke up, it wasn't as late as it's supposed to have been. I was actually looking after the pub that I started with, and there was a stag night. They was a bit rowdy, which you thought was normal. It got louder and louder, and then started to swear. So I went up to them, gave them a nice warning: behave yourself, keep the noise down. I walked away. Second time, I actually learned that they were swearing and pushing people around near the tables. So I went up again, sternly forewarned them that if they keep going on, they'll go. So then I got a mouthful of abuse to me, myself. I thought, right, that's it. So I grabbed hold of the guy. He started arguing and jostling me around, thinking he was like it. And he ended up trying to hit me. So I took one lunge at him, cracked him in the eye. He went on the floor. And because his head hit the floor, he knocked himself out. His friends brought him round outside, and I didn't know that he was the groom the following day. And he ended up, I think, on his photographs with a black eye. But he didn't realise that I could punch as good as I did. As the time went on, my reputation started to grow, and it went before me no matter where I was. So, they always turn around and say, watch out. She's on the doors, be careful, because she don't stand no crap. there was an incident on the dance floor, and next thing I heard over the the music itself was a girl screaming really loudly. So I ran to her, and it was her boyfriend. He'd been stabbed with a wine glass, pouring with blood. And he was trying to tell me that the guy in front of him that was just moving away was the guy that did it. So I grabbed hold of the guy, and I was like keeping hold of him to like move him to our office, waiting for the police. And the next minute I saw this guy coming towards me, big, huge guy. And I thought he was going to go and like hit the guy that I got. And he didn't, he hit me right under the chin. My eyes went round like a fruit machine. And I saw stars like in a cartoon. And I still stood there, but I shook my head. So I dropped the guy that I got, the door staff grabbed hold of him, and I just punched him. It was like I saw red. I was doing my job. Of course, he ended up falling over, hit his head against a stool. And when he come round, he thought that a man had actually hit him. And when he found out it was me that had hit him, he was so apologetic, he was nearly in tears because he'd actually hit a woman. All he saw was, apparently, it was his brother that I'd got. And all he saw was someone grabbing hold of his brother. In them days, you could actually use a headlock. And he saw his brother in a headlock, and that was it. He wanted to, like, release him. And, of course, I got it on the chin. The way I looked at it is a fact of, like, if you're going to do that kind of job, especially a woman, don't think about your nails or your makeup or the way your hair looks. It's a fact of you're there to do a job. If you're going to do it properly. And I wasn't going to go down on the floor for no one. And it hurt, believe me, it really hurt. It split my lip. But because I felt my own blood, that was when I saw red. For them, it was a bit more morale boosting. And they'd just try it, just to see what the reaction they'd get out of me. But I wouldn't rise to that situation of where, like, well, they call me names. And I've been called from a pig to a dog, believe me. I mean, they call me a lesbian, they call me a pig, you know, anything like that, anything derogatory that they could get their hands on, that's what they'd do. But just wanted to do to see if they get a rise out of you, and it wasn't going to happen. And yeah, I just chinned him. One of the door staff that I was working with, he took a group of people out. And, you know, as you go out, some people turn around and say, I'll get you, you effing. And I'm coming back to get you. And like you go, yeah, whatever. And you carry on with your night. Well, this particular guy had got a grudge against the door staff that had chucked him out. And this guy was standing next door to me on the front door. And the next minute there was a car coming round the corner, pretty slow, winds his window down. And as he gets level with us on the doors, he fires a gun out of the window. The first bullet hit the door. The door staff that was with me, he realised it was the guy that had come back. He ran in, shut the door, left me outside. It was an instant reaction, but left me outside. And as the guy went to shoot again, it hit the door, smashed the window, but it ricocheted off the panel of the door, the window frame, and hit me straight in the knee. You know, I just radioed through that I'd been shot at. All the door staff come racing down. The car actually raced off. As far as I know, the police got him on CCTV, so that was that. But when they realised that the door staff had left me outside, they wasn't very happy that they'd left a female on the door. And needless to say, he got sorted by the door staff after the end of the shift. No doorman or doorwoman should leave another member of the team outside in danger. So, needless to say, he got what for. I got stabbed in the throat. That was by in Manchester, Moss Side. New pub been built from an old one that had been set on fire. There was a drug dealer on his manor sort of thing, as he called it. And I was actually working there with another door staff. And he didn't like the look of me, apparently. He called me white trash. And I was checking the toilets in the pub. The place was packed. I come back past him, and he seemed to like lift his arm, but I didn't realise why. And then he disappeared. It was like it was in a magician show. And he just like puffed and he'd gone. And I didn't take much notice. I carried on walking towards the bar. The next minute, the bar staff, female bar staff, screamed, passed out behind the bar. So I'm like looking over, seeing what's wrong with her, sort of thing. And the barman come rushing down with a load of towels in his hand. And he went, keep still, keep still. And I'm like, why? He went, been stabbed. That was all I heard, was been stabbed. I didn't see it, didn't hear it was me or someone behind me. Been stabbed. So I'm looking behind me like this, wondering what the hell was happening. And he come towards me, and I thought, oh, he's going to hit me. So I stood back in a stance, I thought, thought it was me. And he put his hand forward with all these towels in, and he put it at the side of my neck. And I thought, oh, what's he doing? So by the time I'd done that, the blood was all over my fingers. I realised it was me that had been stabbed. So I'm standing there waiting, the police have turned up, emptied the pub. I gave them a description of who I thought was the person. They run back on CCTV, saw the actual incident. I went off to hospital. I had an X-ray, they stitched it up. And I went on my way to where I was stopping. And I was back at work the following night on the same door, like a muppet. And I got my scarf around my neck. As far as anyone was concerned, there was nothing wrong with me. And the landlord come up and he went, are you all right to work? He said, you shouldn't be here. I went, well, he stabbed me, but he hadn't killed me. And I said, I'm here to do a job. Later on, in comes this car, screeching, pulls up, parks up, gets his girlfriend out. He walks towards me, and his face seems to drop, and he drains of colour, because I'm standing in the middle of the door. And his words were, being polite, what you still doing here? Just a white trash, I thought I'd done away with you. So I went, if you're going to do it proper. I'm still here. I'm still here to do a job. I says, and you ain't getting in tonight. And he was arguing, and while he was arguing, the landlord got on the police. And by the time he was about to turn on his heels to go, because there was no way he was coming in, the police pulled up, arrested him for attempted murder. He was well known to the police as a drug dealer anyway. And when they actually raided his car, they found more drugs on him. So he basically got the book chucked at him. He got 10.5 years. Looking back on it now, I don't think he was trying to kill me, but probably on his terms, he probably was. I wasn't going to go down and stay down. I got a job to do.
Hi, welcome to Deep.
This channel goes a level deeper.
Deep is a brand new YouTube channel that is dedicated to the amazing experiences of incredible individuals.
We basically try and answer the questions that you always want the answer to, but you don't feel like you can ask.
Myself and the team are responsible for a lot of the factual content that you might have seen on YouTube, Minutes With, The Gap, Agree to Disagree, among others. And we set up this new studio and this new channel to go a level deeper.
We will be uploading a new video every single week.
There'll be a wide range of stories, so please hit the subscribe bell.
Please let us know in the comments if there's anything you want us to cover, any stories that you've been interested in, any questions you wanted to ask.
We hope you enjoy. Now back to our story.
The lady had come out, she was 7 months pregnant. She'd come out to enjoy herself with her friends, her birthday I think it was. And halfway through the night, their friends come to the door saying, have you seen a pregnant lady in this particular dress? Must be still inside. Well, we've tried everywhere, can't find her. So I left a couple of door staff on the door, goes to the back of the club, goes into these toilets, and I could hear someone screaming. So I told them to wait where they were. I goes and checks the cubicles, and there's a girl on the floor, and she's pushing, and I thought, oh my God, we found her. So I knew her name, and I said her name, and she went, yeah, it's me. I says, well, how far along are you? She says, I'm 7 months, it shouldn't have happened by now. I said, well, you're probably enjoying yourself too much. So she didn't know more. She says, I can't hold it. She says, I've got to push. I said, well, do what you want to do. I says, I can't stop you. I says, and if the baby's going to come, it's going to come. And there was always one nosy doorman in any venue. And he come racing in, come sort of find out what was cracking off, and realise it's a lady in like mid-delivery, looks at what you shouldn't have looked at and claps on the floor. I thought, well, he's no good to me, staying where you are. So anyway, the ambulance come, and by the time the ambulance actually arrived, the baby boy was delivered. And I'm not a midwife. Well, you could class me as a midwife now, but she actually sent a bouquet of flowers to me, care of the baby and herself for a speedy delivery. I was always prepared. I never let my guard down. It just escalated to the next step of like tunnel vision, in a sense that if they did push me, I knew what I was going to do. In like my own personal thing, I've lost 4 children.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
That's okay. In 83, 84, 2007, 2009. And, you know, lost my parents as well. And it's built a shield of like, the amount of problems I've had. I've just been stronger and stronger. So if you can go through that in a personal life, I've always thought that like you could be stronger. There's nothing, as far as I'm concerned, that's going to hurt me anymore. So what you can do, what you throw at me on the doors, what you say to me on the doors, this is water off a duck's back, because I can't get any hurt any further. If you can go through that in your own personal time, then there's nothing else worse that can chuck at you apart from death. And that's the way I used to like look at it. You know, if my time was up, it was up. Especially with like incidents that you had to come across, people's throats being open, people stabbed with a screwdriver, babies being delivered, you know, those kind of things. You do have flashbacks. Some of them are nice and okay, but others are terrible, that you don't want to ever come across that again. But you try and block it out. It's somewhere in the back of your mind, but you try not to think about it. To me, every weekend is a new day. So I just block it out. It happens, lock it away. Don't keep thinking about it, otherwise you'll never do the job. There's one that always makes me laugh. God rest his soul, one of my door staff. And what had happened was I was working at the nightclub at the time, and there was an incident in the ladies' toilet. Now, we thought there was 2 women. So I'm knocking on these cubicles, nothing. Some are empty, some are full. So I'm waiting for them to come out. There's all women, so off they go. And there was one in the corner, still locked, still not answering. So anyway, all I heard was these noises, which, you know, you automatically know what that noise is. They're going at it for leather in the toilet. So I goes quietly outside, comes to Richard, come on in me. I says, we've got a couple in the toilet. I says, going at it. He gets, I'll still make me laugh now. He gets into the toilet, he stands on the toilet, and there's a toilet roll holder. And it's one of them metal circular ones. So he thought, right, I'll stand on the toilet, I'll put my foot on the toilet roll holder, and I'll lift myself over the top. So he gets his foot on the toilet roll holder, lifts his body up just as the toilet roll holder gives way. And he comes down right in between on his crown jewels. Well, he's absolutely speechless. He can't speak. There's tears coming down his eyes. I can't do anything for laughing. I can't help him. All I saw was the toilet roll holder fall down the toilet. He's now stuck on top, legs are straddled, and it's like going white, green, purple, you name it. He can't speak, you know what I mean? I can't help him. I can't pick him up, can't pull him down. I'm literally crying. I'm absolutely nearly wetting myself. This couple have now finished what they're doing. They come out, I went, you can stay there. And I got them both near the mirror. And eventually Richard come down and I just couldn't help him. I couldn't. So I grabbed hold of these two and I gave them the walk of shame all the way through the nightclub. Go on, you dirty gits. Go on, get out of there. Go on, keep going. Ooh, don't want to touch you, get out. Giving him a walk of shame all the way to the door, chucked him out. Come back as Richard is now basically just standing up off his knees. And he's gasping. I'm sorry. I says, I just can't help you. Just can't help you. I says, I really wanted to. I says, but it was when the toilet roll holder fell. And he went down like a gymnast. And every time now, even to this day, I think of him. And he's passed away now. But yeah, that's the thing that always sticks in my mind. If ever I'm miserable, I think of that. And it just makes me giggle. There is good and bad in every kind of job. You can basically sense people if they're good on or not, if they've got your back, trustworthy. Old school, we used to call it. And I used to work with a great team, but I picked them myself because I knew I could rely on them and they could rely on me. And 9 times out of 10, if there was a fight, I was always the first in because I always said that if I couldn't do the job, I wouldn't ask anybody else to do it. So if I went in first, I hope you're going to follow me. Don't leave me standing, because if you leave me standing, you'll leave the job. We used to have quite a few people that was good at the job, friendly, straightforward, and then you got these what we call shirt fillers. And they just got a job because it was easy money as far as they was concerned, until like they were at the fan. Then they turned around and like there was just there just so they could get a girlfriend or what they used to say a shag at the end of the night. And then there was other situations where there was certain door staff that like did that, and then the following weekend when their girlfriend or wife came down, that girl the weekend before came in. Or, you know, the girl come before and like all of a sudden I had to pretend there was either the mum, the sister, the wife, the girlfriend to get them out of it. But yeah, it was just the way it was. I mean, it's probably still the same now. We got puppy walkers, which was the new ones. And if they managed to like live the weekend, you give them a second weekend where you watched them from a distance and they was on their own and see how they stand. If they'd done it for the second weekend, you know, they was all right. I used to look after Freddie Starr, Ken Dodd, Harry Seacombe, Phil Taylor. I looked after Ricky Harton. He was funny. He was doing a question and answer dinner at a venue where I was, and I was looking after him. And that guy can sink Guinness like you wouldn't believe. If Guinness was a Titanic, he'd gone down there at least 14 times. I had to walk him through the town, and at the time, my boss asked me to collect all the money that was doing this event, and I was absolutely freaking out. I got 138 grand on me, and I just got in a little purse, a little bag, man bag as my boss used to call it, and I was looking after him. Now, he'd had 14 pints, right? So you can imagine he's got jelly legs, and I've got to get him from one side of Derby through the town centre on a Saturday night to the other side, to the venue where he was like going to stay and chill out. Oh my God. And it was either look after yourself and keep him upright, start because he was talking to people and people wanted to meet him and have photographs with him, or get mugged with all this money on me. And it was like, come on. It was like to walk in and naughty boy. That was the only way I could describe it. I had to grab hold of his hand and just keep pulling him along. Because he'd have stopped at every single pub if he could have done, and he would have gone in it for another one, you know. Repetitions of broken arms, wrists, things like that, obviously start to come into arthritis. I also had a heart bypass in 2008. I had a heart attack in 2006. But I was still working the doors. But I didn't let the people know that that's what had happened. The first thing they'd do in a fight was head straight to the chest, which could kill me at the time. And I didn't let them do that, so I carried on acting as normal. My personal life was my personal life. It was nothing to do with the doors. Unless you was a personal family friend of mine, nobody knew. Enough's enough. I was fed up of babysitting other people's children. That's the way I looked at it, because when I first started, their parents were like teenagers, same old age as me sort of thing. And over 30 years, obviously, they've had kids, and their kids have had kids, and I was babysitting other people's kids by this time. And I thought, enough babysitting. After 30 years, enough's enough. You're starting to go round that circle again. You're thinking, I can't be bothered. So I thought, call it quits. And that's what I did. I was happy I did it. And now, along the way, I've inspired other ladies and girls to do it. That had never, wouldn't have even thought about it. I also got an email from a lady in America, and she actually saw one of the things that had been televised before about me, and it inspired her to do it. And she's still doing it now, but at the time she'd never thought that she was able enough to do it. And because she saw me doing it, and I was smaller than her in height, not width, she decided to do it. And I like to inspire people. England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, France, everywhere. They've got women on the doors now. If I leave this earth tomorrow, I've left my mark. And my life has been worthwhile. I'll, as far as Derby's concerned, I'll go down in history, which is a nice legacy to leave people. Lady Sally, she actually rang me up, and it was something to do with the Derbyshire women, and it was Women's Day or something. And she'd heard that I'd been a door staff for X amount of years, and she come and interviewed me, and she says, well, what makes you stand out? And I went, my second skin. And she went, I don't understand, what do you mean your second skin? And I says, my door staff coat. I says, I've got a Crombie. I says, I always use it, and it's like my second skin. I says, I put that on. I says, and I'm a different person. I've got my badge. I says, and I'm there to do a job. And that went on to Derby Museum, and it's now in the Museum of Making of Derby. It's also gone to 2 schools for educational purposes, and I'll be going on another tour soon for schools. So yeah, it's in the museum at the moment.
If there's someone watching this who's maybe female, who's thinking, that seems like an interesting job, what would you say?
Have a go. It's either for you or it's not for you, but don't think that you can't do it. Have belief in yourself that you can do it, and see how you go. I thought I couldn't do it, and I spent 30 years doing it. And if I can do it, I'm sure you can.